of today's forum is called Greater Bay Area in the New Era, toward a green future built on connectivity and sharing. Now, 4 honorable guests will address our opening ceremony. First, let's welcome Eric Solheim, former Under-Secretary General of the United Nations and Executive Director of the UN Environment Programme, to deliver his remarks.
Ni hao, Guangdong, Greater Bay Area. It's such a pleasure and honor to speak to business, citizens, and political leaders from this great part of China. We are so much in the lead now in the green shift in the world. We got very good news last week, and that was from the People's Bank of China, which said that they will start a new carbon emission reduction facility. It's an enormous amount of money, and it will be used to lower the interest rate for everyone who do renewables or who do energy efficiency. So it'd be a fantastic tool to make China greener. But the good news is this happened exactly at the same time as Europe is doing the same. The European taxonomy is a very similar to mechanism to drive European business green, making it cheaper to go green, more expensive to continue to be brown and polluting. And of course, in the United States of America, President Biden has put forward some of the greenest proposals ever to the American Congress. Green infrastructure, a lot of it of the same type as China has developed over the last few years. And in India, Prime Minister Modi is investing heavily in solar and in green hydrogen. So there is great good news from many parts of the planet, but the Greater Bay Area is really at the forefront of this shift. The Glasgow Conference on Climate was more successful than we had anticipated. There were great promises on methane, on deforestation, and maybe most important, there was a particular agreement between the United States and China to jointly attack climate change and environment degradation. And Greater Bay Area is front of center in this shift. The Greater Bay Area and Guangdong province, of course, led the opening up of China. Guangzhou just opened its 18th metro line. Shenzhen, of course, has 16,000 electric buses, 20,000 electric taxis. Indeed, there are more electric buses today in Shenzhen than the entire world outside China combined. And Shenzhen has these great green corridors through the city, a sponge city which will absorb flooding, that also creates fantastic environment for the people of Shenzhen. And of course, the Guangdong and the Greater Bay Area is home to some of the most fantastic companies in the world. Tencent, Huawei, DJI, some of the companies driving the new tech of the world and driving the green economy. I will also encourage the Greater Bay Area to take an interest in the fair transition of China, because while Guangdong for sure will benefit fantastically from the green shift, there will be millions of new jobs, a better environment for people, and will contribute to the great global cause of fighting climate problems. And of course, we need to work on the global issues, and the message from Glasgow that China, led by Minister Shenhua, and US, led by John Kerry, the climate envoy of the United States, that they joined hands and that China and the US will try to attack climate problems together. That's a fantastic message. Together, there is no limit to what we humans can achieve. Only the sky is the limit. However, if you allow a new Cold War to take root, or the crazy idea of decoupling to start, that will be a disaster for everyone, disaster for China, disaster for the West, disaster for humanity. So let's make sure that that doesn't happen. Finally, President Xi Jinping just announced that China will now stop all overseas coal investments. That is the best news for the environment in the world this year, because it means coal will go fast down. But it also means that the entire machinery of China will be put behind solar, wind, green hydrogen, all these fantastic new technologies. In the global coalition for the Green Belt and Road, where I am one of the leaders, they're really eager to work with business and political leaders and citizens of the Greater Bay Area to see how we together can make Belt and Road a fantastic vehicle for the green transformation of dozens, hundreds of developing countries. So thank you so much for the ability to speak to you in the Greater Bay Area. I really look forward to cooperation, and you are front and center in this fantastic positive green shift which is happening in the world now. Together we will achieve an ecological civilization. 谢谢.
Thank you, Mr. Solheim, for your inspiring speech. Now we would like to invite Carrie Lam, Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, to address the ceremony.
各位嘉宾、各位朋友，今天我很高兴以视频参与由中国日报社主办的粤港澳大湾区发展广州论坛及新时代大讲堂。这次活动的主题是联通共享低碳发展。自2017年7月1日，国家发改委与粤港澳3地政府在国家主席习近平见证下签署深化粤港澳合作、推进大湾区建设框架协议以来，特区政府一直与中央相关部委和粤澳政府紧密联系，按照中央2019年2月发布的粤港澳大湾区发展规划纲要，积极推进大湾区建设，在一国两制和基本法基础上，加强与大湾区各个城市的互联互通，并以优势互补、互利共赢的精神，寻求政策创新和突破。可以说，我们在硬联通、软联通、新联通3方面都取得丰硕的成果。在设施的硬联通方面，多项重大跨境基建，包括广深港高铁香港段、港珠澳大桥和莲塘香园围口岸，都于过去数年相继落成启用，大大促进了区内基础建设的互联互通，也稳步推进了大湾区1小时生活圈的构建。特区政府正进一步完善跨境陆路交通，包括与深圳市政府共同推动皇岗口岸重建，实施一地两检安排。港深两地政府更成立推动港深跨界轨道基础设施建设专班，全面探讨优化港深口岸的容量及交通联系，其中也包括了展开连接前海的港深西部铁路研究，共同构建轨道上的大湾区。至于软联通方面，多项政策创新和突破，促进了大湾区内规则和经济的连接，利便人流、物流、资金流进一步便捷流通。我特别要感谢韩正副总理主持的粤港澳大湾区建设领导小组，大力推动一系列重大及创新的政策措施，包括税务的优惠、进一步开放金融、法律、建筑及相关工程等服务贸易的市场，科技经费的过河、港澳药械通、跨境理财通等。而刚于去年9月公布的前海方案，更为香港的专业人才和企业缔造更广阔的发展空间。前海方案除了将前海深港现代服务业合作区的面积扩展超过7倍到120平方公里，也强调推动高水平对外开放，推动现代服务业创新发展，并加快建立与香港联通、国际接轨的现代服务业体制。特区政府会继续通过内地与香港关于建立更紧密经贸关系的安排，充分发挥香港拥有的世界级专业服务优势，推动落实前海方案。而在新联通方面，特区政府通过一系列的宣传和活动，推动两地人民的交流和对大湾区的共同愿景。特区政府特别注重加强香港青年通过大湾区增强对国家的向心力。我们推出不同针对青年发展的计划，包括粤港澳大湾区青年就业计划、 粤港澳大湾区青年创业资助计划以及其他多类型的实习及交流，让香港的青年有更多机会亲身走进大湾区的内地城市，探索在更大的舞台一展所长的机会。我们也会用好国家“十四五”规划纲要对香港发展中外文化艺术交流中心的支持，加强与内地的交流合作。加上粤港澳三地将一起举办第15届全运会，三地人员将在不同层面有更深更广的沟通和合作的机会，达至民心相通。除了推动大湾区内各个城市的互联互通，粤港澳大湾区发展规划纲要也强调要推进生态文明的建设。为应对气候变化的挑战，习近平主席已经宣布，中国会力争在2060年前实现碳中和。至于香港，我也已经宣布争取在2050年前实现碳中和。特区政府会在不同方面推动减碳的工作，也希望与大湾区其他城市在发展低碳社区、开发减碳技术和人才培训等范畴加强交流和合作，共同为国家迈向碳中和做出贡献。我们同时希望善用香港作为国际金融中心的地位，积极推动绿色债券市场发展。其中，去年10月，深圳市人民政府在香港发行离岸人民币地方政府债券，是首次有内地市政府在香港发债，当中也包括绿色债券。我们会积极与内地的省市政府探讨在发行绿色债券以至其他绿色金融范畴的合作空间。各位嘉宾、各位朋友，香港特区会继续与其他大湾区城市同心携手，用好国家给我们的大力支持，积极推进大湾区建设的工作，让香港更好融入国家发展大局。最后，我祝愿今天的论坛圆满成功。谢谢大家。
Thank you very much. Next, please welcome Zhou Shuchun, member of the Standing Committee of the 13th National Committee of the CPPCC, publisher and editor-in-chief of China Daily, to give us a speech.
尊敬的各位来宾、各位朋友，我代表本次活动的主办方中国日报社，对大家表示热烈欢迎。推进粤港澳大湾区建设，是以习近平同志为核心的党中央做出的重大决策。2012年12月，习近平总书记在党的18大后首次离京考察，就来到广东，对广东联手港澳打造更具综合竞争力的世界级城市群提出殷切希望。2019年2月，党中央、国务院印发《粤港澳大湾区发展规划纲要》，对粤港澳大湾区当前和今后一个时期合作发展作出规划和周密部署。党的19届六中全会通过的中共中央关于党的100年奋斗重大成就和历史经验的决议2次提到粤港澳大湾区，充分体现了党中央的高度重视。粤港澳大湾区是我国开放程度最高、经济活力最强的区域之一，在国家发展大局中居于重要战略地位。香港特别行政区、澳门特别行政区和珠三角9市拥有雄厚的经济实力、明显的区位优势、良好的合作基础、浓厚的创新氛围、坚实的人才根基和领先的国际化水平，既是珠三角的主引擎，也是中国经济发展的重要增长极。经过多年协同发展，一个充满活力的世界级城市群，具有全球影响力的国际科技创新中心， “一带一路”建设的重要支撑，内地与港澳深度合作示范区，宜居、宜业、宜游的优质生活圈，正日益显现出耀眼的时代光芒和蓬勃的发展势头。本次活动以新时代粤港澳大湾区联通共享低碳发展为主题，各界嘉宾将从不同角度探讨粤港澳大湾区发展前景、融合机制、经贸合作、创新发展等议题，为新时代粤港澳大湾区建设建言献策。中国日报作为国家英文日报和国际传播重要媒体，将一如既往对大湾区发展给予高度关注，对外宣介好大湾区设施硬联通、机制软联通和湾区新联通的最新举措和各项成就，对外讲好大湾区故事，积极为大湾区发展提供强大的舆论支持和智力支撑。最后，预祝活动圆满成功。
Thank you, Mr. Zhou. Next, let's welcome Guangdong-Hong, Deputy Secretary of the Guangzhou Municipal Committee of the Communist Party of China, Acting Mayor of Guangzhou, to deliver his speech.
尊敬的索尔海姆先生、林郑月娥女士、周树春总编辑、各位嘉宾、女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家好！新年伊始，我们很高兴迎来了粤港澳大湾区发展广州论坛暨新时代大讲堂盛大开幕。首先，我谨代表中共广州市委、广州市人民政府，对论坛举办表示热烈祝贺，对各位嘉宾的到来表示热烈欢迎，对一直以来给予广州关心支持的各位朋友表示衷心感谢，并致以新年祝福。粤港澳大湾区建设是习近平总书记亲自谋划、亲自部署、亲自推动的国家重大战略。我们欣喜地看到，近2年虽受疫情影响，但大湾区建设提及不稳，制度机制软联通，基础设施硬联通，科技创新智联通，产业协同链联通，交往交融新联通，不断取得新进展，充分展现了粤港澳的厚实合作基础和广阔合作前景，充分体现了3地人民共担民族复兴历史责任、共享祖国繁荣富强伟大荣光的强烈愿望和使命担当。广州作为大湾区核心引擎之一，始终坚持湾区所向、港澳所需、广州所能，竭尽全力参与推动大湾区建设，与港澳规则衔接的72个事项加快落地，广深港高铁开通运营，香港科技大学广州即将建成，广药集团澳门国际总部、国际药厂建设投产，五乐计划精准服务港澳青年等等。下来，我们将深入学习贯彻党的19届6中全会和习近平总书记关于粤港澳大湾区建设重要论述精神，牢记国之大者，立足全局谋一语，谋好一语促全局，与兄弟城市一道，加快把大湾区规划宏伟蓝图建成实景图，切实把大湾区建设这篇大文章写实写好写出彩，绝不辜负习近平总书记、党中央的厚望重托，绝不辜负3地民众的热切期盼。最后，祝论坛圆满成功，祝各位嘉宾朋友新年快乐，阖家幸福，工作顺利。谢谢。
Thank you, Mr. Guo. With the foundation of the one country, two systems policy, the Greater Bay Area has ample room to give full play to its unique role and comparative strengths, and will become a new paradigm of China's high-level opening up. Moving on to our next agenda, we will invite 5 guest speakers to share their insights on this grand project with us. They will each deliver a themed speech on the stage of Vision China. The guest speakers are Zhang Xiaoqiang, Executive Vice Chairman and CEO of China Center for International Economic Exchanges; Peter Hallis, Chief Advisor of Guangzhou-Hong Development District; Professor Lionel M. Ni, President-designate of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, Guangzhou; Siu-Chi Wai, Chairman of Macau Development Strategy Research Center; and Nathan Williams, video producer of China Daily, member of the Edgar Snow Newsroom. Let's welcome our first speaker, Zhang Xiaoqiang, Executive Vice Chairman and CEO of the China Center International Economic Exchanges. Let's get to know him through a short video clip.
Distinguished guests, I'm glad to join you here. As an important platform to implement the one country, two systems policy in the new era, the Great Bay Area is a template of high quality development as well as a strategic pillars supporting the new paradigm of high level opening up. To better cultivate the platform, new development concepts are necessary. To realize high-quality development, the Great Bay Area should fully implement the development concept of innovation, coordination, green, openness, and sharing, with more effort made in coordinated green and open development. Connected sharing demonstrates the concept of coordinated and open development as it indicates shared development opportunities and results through better coordinated development by hard connection of facilities and soft connection of systems. Green development is a requirement of sustainable development, which refers to the green transformation of production and lifestyles and low carbon development. It is not only for the Great Bay Area to achieve the target of high quality development, but also its active response to China's dual carbon strategy. Since the release of the outline development plan for the Guangdong-Hong Great Bay Area, a lot of groundwork has been done in laying the foundation for connected sharing. In terms of hard connectivity, projects improving transportation have been accelerated. With regard to soft connectivity, tremendous efforts have been made in the rule docking, standard integration, mutual recognition of qualifications, and the governance coordination, dramatically improving the facilitation of elements flow. The business environment continues to improve. The comprehensive rollout of connectivity of the Great Bay Area project across the board has helped improve the level of market integration. Measures have been taken to advance the service industry opening to Hong Kong and Macau, and Hong Kong and Macau companies enjoy national treatment in investment and operation in legal, accounting, and the construction sectors. The integration of professional qualifications and industrial standards is speeding up as unilateral recognition facilitates mutual recognition in 8 professions of great public interest, such as physicians, teachers, and tourist guides. Solid steps are being taken in promoting equal treatment of Hong Kong and Macau residents with mainland residents. For example, Hong Kong and Macau residents can buy and renew insurance, keep advantageous social benefits, hold public office in the mainland, and enjoy the same policies as mainland residents when buying horses. It is effective connectivity that ensures the development of Hong Kong and Macau and the improvement of people's lives. Consequently, the Great Bay Area is able to integrate into China's development layout, benefiting from the opportunity and the result of the mainland's development. At present, more and more Hong Kong and Macau residents are choosing to work and live in the mainland. 11 incubation bases are in operation for Hong Kong and Macau youth to start businesses, attracting 698 Hong Kong and Macau projects. Government-sponsored institutions have opened up positions to Hong Kong and Macau residents, resulting in more than 10,000 applicants. The building of a high-quality life cycle has been pushing forward steadily. More than 120,000 Macau residents have been granted Zhuhai resident permits, accounting for 70.6% of total Macau residents. Over 40,000 Macau residents participate in Zhuhai pension insurance for urban and rural residents, and employees sent Zhuhai basic health insurance have bought houses in Zhuhai. All those prove that Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau have stepped up into a new stage of interdependent development. Next, the Great Bay Area will focus on rule and mechanism connectivity among the three cities, advance the connectivity of the Great Bay Area project in a meticulous manner, and further upgrade the level of market integration. More creative integrated policies, measures, and rules will be formulated and applied to all three cities. The Great Bay Area will concentrate efforts to promote connectivity of infrastructure and facilitate the integration of main railway lines, intercity railways, commuter rail lines, and urban rail transit, expanding the building up a Great Bay Area on rails. The Great Bay Area will spare no efforts to develop important platforms like Hetao, Hengqin, Qianhai, and Nansha. Closer attention should be paid to rural connection and mutual learning of systems during the process of soft connectivity. It is an issue based on merit rather than a unilateral absorption of Hong Kong or Macau system for the mainland. The mainland has advantages in development planning, technology innovation, administrative decision-making, and exhibiting a people-centered philosophy, where Hong Kong and Macau are experienced in international rules, business environment, professional services, and commercial credit, laying the foundation for mutual learning. In the meantime, as the bellwether of China's opening up, the Great Bay Area should actively explore the new system of high-level and open economy, spearheading the practice of systematic opening up. It should actively take part in framing international economic and trading rules on behalf of China. With regard to green development, more work should be done in technology innovation, upgrading of industrial structure, and green and low-carbon development. Serving as the third national center for technology innovation and the fourth comprehensive national science center, the Great Bay Area has made remarkable progress in innovative development. However, there are also weak areas like insufficient fundamental research and bottleneck problems. Hence, the Great Bay Area should continue to call for more support from the central government, improve the utilization efficiency of research and development input by prioritizing more funds to fundamental research and applied basic research. Equal importance should be attached to science and technology through self-reliance and improvement as well as opening up. making full use of international innovation resources. In terms of upgrading the industrial structure, the industry chain of the Great Bay Area ranks among the top nationwide and even worldwide. Meanwhile, there is great development potential in biomedicine, new energy, digital economy, and so on. In the next step, more emphasis should be placed on enhancing resilience and competitiveness, striving to play a leading role in safeguarding the stability and smoothness of the international industry chain and the supply chain within the country. As for the development mode, the Pearl River Delta in Guangdong was the first in the country to launch the campaign to vacate to change bird and upgrade industry after the financial crisis in 2008, and is now working on city renovation of village industry park, 5G plus industry, internet, etc. It can be said that the Great Bay Area is taking the lead in industrial transformation nationwide. In later October, the Chinese government released the working guidance for carbon dioxide peaking and carbon neutrality in full and faithful implementation of the new development philosophy and action plan for carbon dioxide peaking before 2030. It is an inevitable choice to eliminate restraints on development brought by resources and the environment and achieve sustainable development of the Chinese nation, as well as a solemn commitment of China to building a community of shared future for mankind. In pursuit of the dual carbon goal by 2030 and 2060 respectively, we should set up from the national conditions properly deal with the relationship between pollutant and carbon reduction and energy security. Safety of the industrial and supply chains and people's normal life, and taking an approach of gradually replacing traditional energy with clean energy to finally achieve green development. It is a long-term mission for which perseverance is needed. For the Great Bay Area, the first goal is to advance the progress of digitalization. It should develop a digital economy with intensified efforts, empower traditional industry with digitalization, and at the same time, for new business forms like AI, big data, cloud computing, and so on. The second is to promote the development of digital government and digital society, aiming at extensive use of digital solutions in government decision-making and social management. Next is to prioritize the awareness of energy saving and developing new energy. The Great Bay Area has the foundation and potential to perform well in all those aspects. It should endeavor to spearhead the fulfilling the dual carbon targets in China. Dear guests, the development of the Great Bay Area has gained wide recognition and is now being accelerated. I firmly believe that with the support of the central government and the engagement of all circles of society, Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau can build the Great Bay Area into a leading landmark worldwide and a world-class city cluster. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zhang, for giving us a detailed account of the Greater Bay Area's past, present, and future prospect. Next, we will welcome Peter Hallis, Chief Advisor of Guangzhou-Hong Development District, to introduce expectations on future development of the region.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great delight and honor that I'm allowed to speak here today at this very distinguished forum. Having lived in the Greater Bay Area for almost 2 decades, first 10 years in Hong Kong and now almost a decade in Guangzhou and Foshan, the Greater Bay Area has become my home. In 20 years' time, I've witnessed the tremendous transformation of this area. With a GDP of 1.7 trillion US dollar, which is similar to South Korea, a population of almost 80 million people, similar to my home country, Germany, and that all on an area of 56,000 square kilometers, which is similar to Lake Michigan or Croatia. This is one of the most vibrant and possibly the fastest developing areas in the world. The integration of this city in this area is going deeper with a vision of building a vibrant world-class city cluster. Now, with almost 20 years here, I have, however, only witnessed half of the development that started after the reform and opening up policies in the late 70s. When I moved here, some people actually said that the rapid development was soon to be over and that I had missed the best part of it. Yet the truth is, since I came here, I've witnessed further tremendous transformations, 3 of which I want to highlight here. After the global financial crisis, a lot of businesses were hit hard in the Pearl River Delta, and many had to close down. 3 main lessons were drawn from this. The first was the recognition to move up in the value chain. Being just a cheap workbench of the world and almost entirely depending on export was not the way forward. So the Pearl River Delta moved up in the value chain, creating their own brands, creating better quality products, which led to the next lesson, investing into more better locally made products, which in turn led to more investment into research and development. I remember the slogan of the time quite well, which was from made in Guangdong to create in Guangdong. The drive gained such momentum that the GBA now not only counts half of the annual patent registration of China, but is also internationally recognized as an innovative powerhouse. The R&D spending in Guangzhou alone more than doubled in 5 years to reach 78 billion yuan in 2020. The R&D investment intensity of Guangzhou, which measures the ratio of such spending to the local GDP, jumped from a mere 2.1% in 2015 to 3.1% in 2020. One might think that this is already quite an achievement, but at the same time, as a third lesson, people realized that the environment had suffered over the years. Drastic efforts have been made to address this. And look at it today. The rivers have become clean again. The sky at night is full of stars. I've actually turned into a stargazer, telling my friends which planets they can spot above their head. I'm also a bird watcher, and I'm glad to say that only 2 weeks ago, China also passed a new law to protect its wetlands. And don't get me started on all the incredible infrastructure developments in the last decade. The roads, the bridges, the railways, truly astounding achievements. But as my friends here often say, 没有最好，只有更好, which basically means there's always room for improvement. So in the second part of my speech, I want to elaborate on areas where we can still do better. Again, I want to focus on 3 areas. These are, firstly, a world-class place needs world-class recognition. Secondly, building an environment suitable both for working but also living. And thirdly, international talents and how to attract them. The 3 areas are interlinked. One cannot do without the other. The GBA is a world-class city cluster, a so-called megapolis. In my position as the chief advisor of the Guangzhou-Huangpu district, I'm trying to attract global businesses to come to the GBA and participate in this huge market. This is not an easy job, not because this area is not an attractive business destination, which it truly is, but because it's still not very well known to foreign investors. We need to promote the area more. We should use soft international style marketing that can reach the hearts and minds of the international investors. Our happy foreign talents and investors can serve as ambassadors of the GBA, and we should definitely engage them more. Which leads me to the second suggestion. Now that we have built a wonderful and attractive work environment, it would be great to further expand and improve the environment for the time when we don't work. I'm a nature and outdoor guy. In my 30 years career, I lived in Stuttgart, London, Hong Kong, and now in Foshan and Guangzhou. In all those cities, I chose to live in the suburbs and enjoyed easy access to the countryside for hiking, running, cycling, and in Hong Kong, the beaches as well. Although the amount and the quality of parks and the countryside is increasing and getting better, but I think there can still be more. Safe cycling lanes in the cities and suburbs, more running tracks, but especially also more hiking paths would be a fantastic addition to the already picturesque GBA. It will also be good for us all to get out more and reconnect with nature. Which brings me to my third and last suggestion, the attraction of high-end international talent. The two previous points are well related to the last point. We are a world-class region. Guangzhou, Huangpu, where I work and that I represent here at the GBA Summit, even won an award for sustainable investment promotion at the United Nations in Geneva. If we are a world-class international region, we should compare ourselves more with the best regions, not just in China, but in the world. We should look at cities like Zurich, San Francisco, Sydney, or Vienna to learn why are they so attractive to global talent. When I talk about global talent, I don't just mean us foreigners. Nowadays, the pickiest, maybe even most demanding talents are actually the Chinese overseas returnees. Global talents are welcome to work around the world, and they don't just choose the spot for who pays best. They want to live where they can hike and swim in the ocean and cycle on safe roads away from dangerous traffic. They want to live also where their family is happy. So if we want to attract global talent, which we desperately need for our next stage of Greater Bay Area development, we need to further increase the livability of this region, but also the international marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, 我是一个粤港澳大湾区的分子. I'm happy to call Greater Bay Area my home, and I'm looking forward to contribute further to this region. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Hallis, for the inspiring speech. The prosperity of the Greater Bay Area is something we are already seeing, and we expect to see much more of it in the years to come. Next, we will invite Professor Lionel M. Ni, President-designate of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, Guangzhou, to give us a speech titled Transforming Education for the Future. Please welcome.
Hello, fellow guests and friends. It gives me great delight to see you online as we come together today to explore and exchange views and collaboration opportunities for the sustainable development of the Greater Bay Area. Innovation, adaptation, inclusivity, and originality, this set of beliefs has led HKUST to make great strides progressively in education, research, and knowledge transfer since its establishment in 1991. The outline development plan for the GBA puts emphasis on the cooperation in education and the development of a talent pool. The Ministry of Education and the Guangdong provincial government have issued a plan for advancing higher education cooperation in the GBA, with an aim to build the area into the home of a number of the world's leading universities by 2035. Now, the establishment of HKUST Guangzhou is going on full speed, and the campus will soon open its door in September 2022 in Nansha, Guangzhou, the heart of the Greater Bay Area. With the opening of the new Guangzhou campus, the university will usher in a new era of HKUST 2.0, which represent a critical milestone in the university's strategic development. With the emergence of revolutionary technologies in quantum information science, AI, and advanced communication, the world we live in today is being shaped by a new wave of technology revolution. The fourth industrial revolution resulting from such advances has led to a qualitative change in talent demand. We want to be a cradle of forward-looking talents and creative industry leaders who possesses knowledge transfer capabilities and can adapt to future technologies, emerging industries, and social changes. How, then, can we nurture such talents? At HKUST Guangzhou, we strive for the following changes. First, we innovate the academic framework to facilitate cross-disciplinary education, capitalizing on the strong discipline-based foundation at the Clearwater Bay campus. HKUST Guangzhou will chart new territories in pedagogical approach through the implementation of a unique and non-conventional hub structure incorporating 16 cutting-edge research thrust areas. The two campuses will complement each other without duplicating their academic programs. This innovation model allows the faculty and students to bridge diverse knowledge from multiple disciplines, explore new frontiers of cross-disciplinary research, and discover novel solutions to global problems. The second change is to push forward pedagogical and research innovation through which students are trained to ask meaningful questions. This model is designed to enhance students' creative thinking, empower them to build their own ideas, and cultivate their ability to engage with the society. They will be co-supervised by two faculty from complementary disciplines who are either cross-disciplinary experts or leaders from the academia or industry sectors. They may come from both HKUST and HKUST Guangzhou. The third change is to accelerate innovation in knowledge transfer. Under the idea of innovation-driven development, we believe the research element should be further emphasized in such collaborations, as research outcomes and technologies could lead to the birth of new industries. Reaping on the benefit of China's reform and opening up over the past 40 years, the GBA has attracted talent, capital, and other essential resources from all over the world, which has helped the area create a comprehensive industrial chain and an experimental, devoted, and inclusive vibe. These are made possible by the ever-growing support of regional governments for innovation and entrepreneurship. HKUST Guangzhou's proximity to the university's research platforms in Nansha, Shenzhen, and Foshan will also strengthen commercialization of research findings and facilitate knowledge transfer to its fullest. Over the years, there was a rapid growth in the number of enterprises established, funded, or incubated by HKUST professors, students, and alumni. DJI, a pioneer in the field of unmanned aerial vehicle technologies, is one of the many typical examples. Many more HKUST incubated unicorns are now on their way to grip the world. The opening of HKUST Guangzhou in September 2022 will be a leap forward in our GBA development blueprint. It's a combination of the right time, right place, and right people. I very much look forward to meeting you all in person on our beautiful, sustainable HKUST Guangzhou campus to explore HKUST 2.0 together. Thank you very much.
That's very informative. Thank you very much. Our next speaker today is Xiuqi Wai, Chairman of the Macau Development Strategy Research Center. Please welcome.
This is Siu Chi Wai. I'm the chairman of the Macau Development Strategy Research Center. Today, I am so happy to have this chance to share my thoughts with you. The topic I'm going to discuss is through Greater Bay Area development, how Macau will take place in the national environmental governance. For giving an overall view, it is always good to look at things from top down, as our work is already interconnected to each other. We shall look at the topic from global perspective. Actually, nowadays, environmental governance is a social problem globally. The best example is the pandemic of COVID-19. Suddenly, the outbreak arrived. Each country faced big challenges on public health. Also, the globalization process is hurt badly because of the global economic recession. Even today, many countries are struggling with the balance between environmental governance and economic growth. Other than the pandemic, we also need to pay extra effort to protect our Earth away from the threatening of climate change. Therefore, very officially, environmental governance is now the hottest topic for all the countries. Our country, China, we are the biggest developing country. With no questions, we are a key participator, contributor, and pioneer for the development of global ecological civilization. You can see that our country already set green development as a key mission. You can refer to our country's 45 years development plan. Green ecological development is an important indicator for our social and economic development. After the continuous implementation, I trust the successful case of our country can be shared to the international society as a role model. Besides, in 2019, our country published the outline of Greater Bay Area development. From the outline, we have an individual chapter talking about the development of ecological civilization. It clearly states that the requirement of the environmental protection and governance. So, as part of the Greater Bay Area, Macau needs to answer two questions. What is the role of Macau SAR in this process? What influence is available for the promotion of a greener and more sustainable development? To answer this, we need to talk back the history of our common development. Throwback in the 90s, we can see that Guangdong and Macau already had deep cooperation in environmental friendliness. Our cooperation covers supervision, monitoring, industry, contingency. But we still need to solve some problems to improve. Specifically, these are still some systematic discrepancies among the cities. So, what are these discrepancies? I can tell you, they are from three different legal systems exist in the Greater Bay Area. More difference can be found in the legalization authorities and understandings. As a result, we can see that some related laws are applicable for the local area only. In my opinion, we need to improve the environmental governance from different directions. In short, we need a more consistent, closer, and efficient mechanism. This mechanism shall improve the efficiency of making the related policies and laws. At the same time, set up a supervision department to monitor the execution and evaluate the result from time to time. And up to now, you may ask, the improvement is all about administrative issues. Then how about the economic and the social issues? If we look into the comparative advantage of Greater Bay Area, you will easily find out that the Bay Area contributes a good value of our country. Of course, I'm talking about economic outcome and the innovative power. So the question now becomes, how can we leverage this existing advantage? I suggest that we will need a capital fund, namely Greater Bay Area Cooperation and Green Development Fund. With this fund, we can promote green label accreditation. Also, we can provide incentive to the manufacturing industry and support the adoption of green smart solution. After so many information, you may ask again, what is the role of Macau in the process? My answer is that to leverage the role of Macau, the Lusophone platform, through the platform, we can strengthen the international cooperation all the ways. We need to facilitate the interconnectivities of the energy infrastructures with the Portuguese-speaking countries and extend the network. Especially, we need to introduce the carbon credit markets, green industries, and green agricultural industry for Portugal, Portuguese-speaking countries, and European countries to Greater Bay Area. Through Guangzhou Futures Exchange, we can promote the liquidity of the green commodities and futures. As a conclusion, as one of the 4 core cities of the Bay Area, Macau, without questions, is our duty to contribute the green development. To unleash the Bay Area's real capacity, we need to make good use of the existing infrastructure. How to do it? In short, my answer is simple. To execute the hard interconnection of infrastructure, soft interconnection of the mechanism and systems, and interconnection from heart among the city cultures. I foresee the green development of Greater Bay Area will become a demo or a role model for ecological civilization. It can facilitate our country's environmental governance. We shall proactively tackle the climate change. We must contribute everything to build a commonwealth community between human being and the environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Our final speaker today is Nathan Williams of China Daily. Mr. Williams is a video producer and a member of the Edgar Snow newsroom. Over the past few years, he has been chronicling China's rapid growth. In fact, he undertook a 12-day tour of the Greater Bay Area last year, and he's here today to tell us something about what he found.
Hello, my name is Nathan Williams and I am a video producer for China Daily. I work in the new media department and I share stories about China's development. Being in my position means I get access to a world that few foreigners in China are lucky enough to see. Last year, I explored the Greater Bay Area, filmed many short documentaries about the progress, development and opportunities that are making it one of the best Bay Areas in the world. Today, I would like to share with you what I saw through my lens. As one of the most open and economically vibrant regions in China, the Greater Bay Area has a lot to explore, and on my 12-day tour, I used every waking moment to research, question, film, and interview the places and people that are contributing to the area's growing success. For those of you that are familiar with Greater Bay Area tours, you may know just how many industrial parks and innovation hubs exist. Trust me, there are a lot. So much so that you could be mistaken in thinking that they're all the same. But this is far from the truth. The Greater Bay Area has intensely implemented a development strategy which is innovation-driven, with pilot measures of comprehensive innovation and reform. You see this from law firms, manufacturing, transport, and the food and beverages industry. My journey starts in Zhuhai and ends in Guangzhou. My first stop on the tour was an innovation park in Zhuhai, where I found out how support from the government is helping businesses in the region overcome challenges. Innovative policies, reforms, and easy coordination for new businesses means that establishing new enterprises in the GBA is within reach for many entrepreneurs. I visited ZLF, a joint venture company that comprises of law firms from Chinese mainland and special administrative regions Hong Kong and Macau. Expert and experienced companies like this one are making it easier for businesses to create new opportunities. Business people can also visit one-stop tax service centers that also lead people through the basic steps needed to open businesses and employ people in the Greater Bay Area. My second stop on the tour was to the Zhuhai Yongzhou Intelligence Technology Company, a company specializing in boat manufacturing and automation. Here, I saw how the Greater Bay Area is widening the scope of the blue economy and jointly developing a base for modern marine industries. Marine conservation and search and rescue are just two growing areas that make the Greater Bay Area an exciting testing ground for new technology. With Hong Kong as an international maritime center, major ports such as Guangzhou and Shenzhen with throughputs among the highest in the world, and Hong Kong, Guangzhou and Shenzhen being important international aviation hubs, you can see how transport development is right on track. Speaking of tracks, I visited CRRC Railway Firm. I stood in the largest maintenance and manufacturing factory for railways and subways in South China, and it was easy to see why China railway systems are first class. Last year, it was announced that construction work on the new 41.2 kilometer high-speed railway connecting Jiaoqing to Foshan began in December. The project, expected to be completed in 4 years, is part of the Zhuhai-Jiaoqing high-speed railway, which links up Zhuhai, Jiangmen, Foshan and Jiaoqing. Jiaoqing is an important transport hub in the Greater Bay Area, linking the region with the southwestern part of the country. Shenzhen is also building a high-speed rail link with Jiangmen, providing a new transportation route for Shenzhen and Hong Kong travelers, bound for Guizhou province and the Guangxi autonomous region through Jiaoqing. This is another example of how a modern and comprehensive transport system that is both convenient and highly efficient is rapidly taking shape. So far, we've looked in at the Greater Bay Area. We've seen that it's driven by innovation and led by reform. But what about looking out? Another principle of the Greater Bay Area is to target the most advanced technologies and industries in the world. strengthen the development of innovation platforms, vigorously develop new technologies, industries, as well as types and models of business, accelerate the process of developing an economic system mainly driven and supported by innovation. I found some of the outcomes of this principle at Xiaopeng Motors. Xiaopeng Motors began low-volume exports to Europe in December 2020 and see themselves as a major player in the future of electronic vehicle manufacturing. Although they are relatively new players in the market, I could see, exploring the assembly factory and testing the cars out for myself, that their decision to invest in the Greater Bay Area has already brought dividends. Right now, when you think of electric cars, you may think Tesla. But I have a feeling that in the not too distant future, you might think Xiaopeng. Another great example of how companies in the Greater Bay Area are thinking internationally is the Guangdong-Hong Electrical Appliances Holdings Company. They export 70 million coffee machines per year in over 100 countries. I had the chance to speak to the Hong Kong division sales manager, Jason Chan King Yip, who firmly believes that young people will be setting their sights on China and view it as a new benchmark of quality standard when they think of where they'd like to grow their futures. To continue to speak about innovation on an international scale, I also visited the Guangdong Industrial Design City in Shenzhen, which boasts over 280 design agencies from across the globe, bringing together over 8,300 designers and developers, bringing in revenue of more than 6.4 billion yuan. So you can see that domestically the conditions are right, the ground is fertile, and for companies seeking fortune by creating new developments in international markets, the Greater Bay Area will help them push progress and drive innovation. During my tour of the Greater Bay Area, I hope you can see that I have experienced so much. You may be wondering, what was my favorite part? Well, I haven't told you yet. During my stopover in Guangzhou, I visited the Guangzhou, Tianhe, Hong Kong and Macau Youth Association headquarters. It helps to promote and encourage entrepreneurship for young people from Hong Kong and Macau. I had the opportunity to speak to some Hong Kong-born entrepreneurs who found the hub instrumental to their success. Dr. Fabia Chung, a clinical psychologist, didn't hesitate to tell me why moving her business to Guangzhou was a great idea, because its geographical location meant that her clients came from all over the Greater Bay Area, giving her access to a wider market. I spoke to entrepreneurs who were grateful for the help and guidance given at the hub, so they could navigate through the taxation and administration policies so they could set up their businesses. When you see so much activity and wide-eyed excitement for people passionate about making their business a success, you can see the benefits afforded to people who want to build their future in the Greater Bay Area. It's truly inspiring. From the aforementioned aspects, I have seen the tremendous changes and distinctive development models that have been put in place in the Greater Bay Area in terms of technological manufacturing and innovation. These characteristic developments have also implemented the spirit of President Xi's important instruction on how to seize the important historic opportunities in the development of the Guangdong-Hong Kong-Macao Greater Bay Area. Meanwhile, adopted at the 6th plenary session of the 19th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China on November 11th, 2021, the resolution on the major achievements and historical experience of the Communist Party of China over the past century, and the resolution on the convocation of the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China is an impressive document, replete with historical success, tales of triumph over adversity, and unprecedented progress and innovation. The Greater Bay Area is among its triumphs and will be for decades to come. I'd like to end my talk by emphasizing that being a journalist in China makes me very grateful. I'm grateful to get up close with the people and get a front row seat to see how China goes through some dramatic changes. I hope you can see how during my travels I have seen a vibrant and internationally competitive first-class Bay Area. with distinctive and geographical advantages, robust economic strength, a high concentration of key factors of innovation, advanced levels of internationalization, and solid cooperation foundations. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan, for sharing your thoughts and experience. With the insights from all of our speakers today, we've known much more about the Greater Bay Area from various sectors and different angles. The emergence of the Greater Bay Area blueprint reflects China's determination to open wider to the world. It also gives people at home and abroad more opportunities to board the fast train of China's development. We'll be witnessing the bright future of the region together. And that's all for today's Vision China event. For more latest updates of Vision China, please visit China Daily's official website, download the China Daily app, or follow us on WeChat, Weibo, Facebook, or Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.